In a thrilling turn of events, the storyline surrounding Arianna Horton is about to take a significant leap forward. It was previously speculated that Marissa Reyes would be stepping into the role of a teenage Arianna, and now, Soap Opera Digest, SOD, has confirmed this exciting news. Reyes will officially make her debut in late May, bringing a fresh, youthful energy to the Horton family as the beloved character grows up on screen. Arianna, the daughter of Will Horton and Gabby Hernandez, has spent the majority of her life off-screen, leaving viewers with only fragments of her story. While much of her early years were largely behind the scenes, the upcoming storyline will finally shine a light on her character, offering a more complete and in-depth view of Arianna's journey as a teenager. This new chapter will undoubtedly bring a host of dynamic developments and fresh relationships that will capture the audience's attention. The storyline focusing on teenage Arianna will kick off in May, with Reyes making her much-anticipated debut. It appears that this will be more than just a brief arc, as she is expected to stay on beyond the initial storyline. In fact, it seems Reyes is still filming, suggesting that her time on Days of Our Lives will be far from fleeting. This is fantastic news for fans who have been eager to see more of Arianna's character in action, especially after so much time spent off-screen. Arianna's backstory is rich with familial ties, with Will Horton and Gabby Hernandez as her parents. However, due to her living arrangements over the years, fans haven't had the chance to watch her grow up in Salem. As a child, Arianna spent a significant amount of time in Arizona with her father Will and his partner, Sonny Kyriakis. During this period, she rarely appeared on screen, making only occasional visits to Salem. The character's physical absence from the canvas had some viewers scratching their heads as they wondered about her whereabouts and what might be next for her. In recent years, Arianna's life has had its share of changes, and as Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal, the next big chapter in her life will be her move back to Salem to live with her mother, Gabby. This transition is expected to cause some tension, particularly with Gabby, who has her hands full navigating the challenges of raising a teenager. Gabby, already a strong-willed and fiercely protective mother, is sure to find the transition difficult. Teenagers are notorious for their rebellious streaks, and Arianna's return to Salem as a teenager is expected to stir up plenty of drama and conflict within the family dynamic. Given the dramatic nature of Days of Our Lives, it wouldn't be surprising if Arianna's return brings some rivalry along with it. Spoilers hint that Arianna could find herself in competition with Holly Jonas, another young character who has made waves in Salem. Holly, who has often had her own share of drama, could see Arianna as a potential rival, especially as the two young women navigate the complicated world of romance, friendships, and family ties. Their rivalry could spark a new wave of tension, adding another layer to the already complex web of relationships in Salem. Speaking of romance, it seems that Arianna's teenage years will also bring a love interest into the picture. There are whispers that Arianna may eventually set her sights on Doug Williams III, a new character played by Peyton Meyer. This potential romance could provide a significant plotline, adding depth to Arianna's character and perhaps shifting the dynamics of her relationship with the other younger characters on the show. As with most soap opera love stories, this relationship is sure to be filled with its own set of challenges and conflicts, which will only add to the drama and intrigue. For many Days of Our Lives fans, there has been some confusion about Arianna's whereabouts and where exactly she has been living over the years. To clarify, Arianna has spent a good portion of her life in Arizona with Will and Sonny, making the occasional trip to Salem. She was also a part of one of the show's previous storylines, portrayed by actress Lane Rosa. Her character has seen multiple shifts in her living arrangements, including a period where she lived in New Zealand with Will and Sonny. Eventually, the family returned to Arizona, and Arianna's life in Salem became less frequent. However, now that she's back, her presence will undoubtedly shake up the current dynamics in Salem. As fans eagerly await Marissa Reyes' debut, they can rest assured that the return of Arianna Horton will bring not only a new face to the screen but also a host of fresh storylines. Whether it's the growing tension between mother and daughter, the emerging rivalries, or the potential for a new romance, Arianna's presence in Salem is sure to leave a lasting impact. Days of Our Lives has consistently delivered on drama, and with the introduction of a teenage Arianna, it seems the show is set to deliver even more captivating twists and turns in the months to come. Stay tuned for more developments as the arrival of Marissa Reyes marks an exciting new chapter for Arianna Horton and the rest of the Horton family on Days of Our Lives. In yesterday's episode of Days of Our Lives, a whirlwind of emotions and complex relationships took center stage. The focus shifted between Stephanie and Jada's heartfelt conversation, Rafe's deep emotional turmoil, and the surprising turn of events between Sammy and Rafe. The episode unfolded with intensity, as characters navigated love, jealousy, and unresolved feelings that have been brewing for far too long. Stephanie and Jada shared a quiet moment, sipping coffee together as they tried to find some semblance of peace amid the chaos that had engulfed Jada's life. They sat together at Stephanie's house, flipping through the latest Spectator article about the tense Titan/Demera takeover. The business news was just a background to the real conversation at hand, Jada's heartache and her struggles with Rafe. Jada had been kicked out by Rafe, who had just been consumed by a swirl of hurt and anger after learning the devastating truth. Though she had tried to make sense of everything, Jada knew that Rafe needed space. She was still in love with him, but she didn't want to cause him more pain by staying with Sean. So, she turned to Stephanie, her longtime friend, for help. Stephanie had been there for her through thick and thin, and this moment was no different. "I know you don't want to make things worse, Jada," Stephanie said gently, offering her friend both a warm cup of coffee and a listening ear. "But Rafe is a good man. He just needs time. When he cools off, he'll realize how much he cares for you. You have to be patient." Jada was clearly torn, struggling to hold back her emotions. "But what if he doesn't want me back? What if this is the end of everything?" Stephanie reassured her, reminding Jada of Rafe's emotional depth and how much he really loved her. Rafe was no stranger to complex feelings, and this moment of anger was just a reaction to the pain he had been feeling. Stephanie suggested that Jada reach out to him, that maybe a heartfelt conversation could break through his walls. Determined but hesitant, Jada decided to text Rafe, asking him to meet her at small bar, but she was met with silence. She couldn't help but feel discouraged, but Stephanie, ever the optimist, encouraged her to try again. "Just go to small bar, Jada. He might show up. What do you have to lose?" Meanwhile, in a much more complicated corner of Salem, Rafe's emotional state was anything but settled. After their unexpected confrontation, Sammy had left her mark on him, physically and emotionally. Rafe and Sammy had found comfort in each other, falling back into old patterns despite the chaos that surrounded them. As Rafe laid in bed with Sammy, the world outside seemed distant. But their peace was interrupted when Javi, Rafe's nephew, suddenly burst into the room. Javi was stunned by what he saw, Rafe and Sammy in bed together, in the aftermath of their passionate encounter. Rafe quickly introduced Sammy as his ex-wife, and Javi, ever the awkward teenager, mumbled an apology before running out of the room. Sammy, ever the quick-witted character, laughed at the awkwardness of the situation, relieved that, for once, she hadn't had to hide their actions. She teased Rafe, saying, "See? This time, no one caught us. No embarrassment, no hiding." But Rafe wasn't entirely convinced by the light-hearted moment. He paused and looked at Sammy, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "What now?" he asked, not knowing where their relationship was heading or if they could ever move beyond their past. Sammy's response was a stark reminder of the chasm that lay between them. "I'm going to Italy," she said, matter-of-factly. "That's my life now. But you can come with me, Rafe. We could make a fresh start." Rafe was caught off guard by her offer, but deep down, he knew it wasn't a real choice. He couldn't just drop everything and follow her. Despite the connection they had shared, Rafe understood that they had different paths ahead. "I can't go with you, Sammy," he said softly, "and I think you know that." The tension in the room was palpable, both characters feeling the weight of their past decisions and the uncertain future that lay before them. But despite everything, they still found comfort in each other's presence, knowing that they would always mean something to one another. The conversation turned to waffles as Sammy decided to head downstairs, leaving Rafe to sort through his thoughts. As he dressed, his phone buzzed with a text message from Jada. She wanted to meet at small bar. The urgency in her message was clear, she needed to talk. Rafe couldn't ignore the tug at his heart, and as he left the room, it was clear that his feelings for Jada weren't easily brushed aside. Yet, he still carried the weight of his anger and his deep hurt. Whether he was ready to face Jada or not, the encounter with Sammy had clearly shifted something inside him. He wasn't sure what to expect when he met Jada, but he knew it was time to figure out what he wanted, not just for himself, but for the future he hoped to have with the woman he loved. As Rafe walked out the door, Sammy was left behind, making waffles as she silently wondered what had just transpired between them. The answer, though unclear, was bound to unravel itself in the coming days. For now, though, their complicated lives hung in the balance, as Rafe and Jada's story was far from over. The complexities of love, forgiveness, and the consequences of past decisions were only just beginning to play out, and with every interaction, every choice, the stakes grew higher for everyone involved. As the drama continued to unfold, it was clear that Rafe and Jada's journey was one filled with love, loss, and the challenge of reconciling past mistakes with a hope for the future. Would they find their way back to each other, or was the damage too deep to heal? Only time would tell.